Hello my dear YouTuber friends, and I hope you're all keeping well. Welcome to this new video. Now, we had the February developer stream from Microsoft yesterday from Asobo. Only about 1,200, maybe 1,300 at its peak people tuned in, which always surprises me considering the number of simmers we have. But in this video I'm going to give you the highlights, the main points that were mentioned, or some of the main points that were mentioned in that live stream, in that developer stream. Things like talking about VR and when improvements can be expected then, general bug fixes, Sim Update 1, when's the likelihood of that coming, they talked about that quite a lot, many other things like DLSS 4, and some other bits and pieces. So let's not dilly-dally, let's get on with this video. Okay, so the live stream began. It began in a sort of tentative, sort of feeling way. Jorg actually mentioned a few times, let's allow the chat to get in here. Let's keep those people satisfied so that we're not just talking about things we want to talk about, we're talking about things that the people want to talk about. Which I've got to say, hats off to him for that. He mentioned that a few times, and I'll show you some footage of that in a moment. Seemed to be very aware of the tension. It was a very tense feeling. Other people there, did you feel the same thing? It was quite a tense dev stream overall. Now, straight from the kickoff, there were mentions about VR within the chat. Seemed like every second comment was about VR. So lots of people in there not happy about VR. We have a good amount of people that do use VR on a regular basis with Flight Sim. Maybe not so much with Flight Sim 2024 at the moment. And it seems that the majority, from what they were saying, the majority of the fixes for VR, and there are reasons behind this, which I'll get into later, will be approached in Sim Update 2. So a lot of the potential VR issues that people are having won't be fixed till Sim Update 2. We don't even have a tentative date on that yet. Probably around March, April time, just as a guess. I tell you what, let me now pass over to the dev stream so you can hear them talk about VR.
Alright, we have the third one, non-functioning EFB in VR.
I see a lot of requests for VR in the chat. Just to let you know, we intend to work a lot on VR for Sim Update 2. It's not ready yet for being released for Sim Update 1. So we've got like a bunch of things here for VR. Toolbar that is missing, some graphical issues. For instance, we've got a lot of discrepancies between the two eyes. Some have already been fixed. Some are going to be here for Sim Update 1, but the rest and the core of the improvement we want to do for VR will be coming with Sim Update 2. So this is part of it. The next three ones are already fixed, so I don't know if we want to talk about that.
I want to say something. I saw something in the past. So Jane, I do think we should pay attention to the chat, but I really would like this to be, when we go through this, if there's open questions, let's spend a few minutes, right? Because everybody's spending time here, and I want to make sure that people walk away saying, okay, this was informative, let's go. On the VR side, I saw some comments upstream here in the chat that VR is not that many people. It's actually not true. So 10% of people play in VR, and I know many people, my VR thing's currently broken, but I will get a new one.
Well, that
includes
me.
I know, but anyways, it's for different reasons broken, not for Flight Sim, but we are going to dedicate more time to VR. We heard you. It's very obvious. There's lots of things in the feedback snapshot, and you can see that we are looking at everything. So don't worry, we are looking at it.
So there you go. Quite a lot of the VR issues and updates and things that need to be fixed do seem to be pushed to Sim Update 2. Now there is a reason behind this. Let's actually jump to that part of the video now. Sim Update 1. Now this was talked about by Jorg quite a bit. What he said, and he's rightly so on this, they don't want to release Sim Update 1 without the marketplace fully functional. So if there's issues with the marketplace, they're not going to release Sim Update 1. In other words, if they haven't fixed everything that needs to be fixed there, make sure it's fully functioning, the marketplace, it won't be released. It did give a tentative date for the 18th of February. Now, that may happen. I'm thinking more probably the end of February at best, personally. I don't want them to release Sim Update 1 without a functioning marketplace. I'd rather they get that right. Get the marketplace fully functioning, or functional, and then release Sim Update 1. I don't want a half, no other words for it, a half-ass sim again, where, you know, the marketplace is only half in and there's problems and more issues. Let that not happen. Let them properly concentrate on that. So that's why a lot of the issues with VR are not being addressed. They did say some of the issues will be addressed with Sim Update 1, just not all of them for VR. They're concentrating mainly on the marketplace functionality, and I've got to say I agree with that. Get that right first and then address the other issues. Yes, I mean, ideally VR should have been working brilliant from day one. We know that wasn't the case. We know a lot of the things weren't working from day one properly. Let them fix more of the core issues first and then get on to other issues. I mean, do let me know your thoughts. I know if you're mainly a VR user, you're going to be quite dismayed about that news, but it does kind of make sense that they have to get that marketplace especially functioning properly first, and then move on to other issues. And then they talked about the question and answers. Basically, it's questions that were submitted for the dev stream and answering live questions from the chats as well. There was a huge section of it, about 1 hour 24 minutes in that stream, from Sebastian, about the rolling cache. Now this is something I'll be thoroughly testing myself. There's a couple of tests I want to do on that. It's saying basically the bigger the rolling cache, the less reliance you're going to have on streaming. That's not going to hit straight away. You're going to need to fly over the area, over the specific areas a couple of times, let's say. And when that rolling cache builds up, you're going to have much less reliance on streaming and on your bandwidth, that type of thing. Like I said, there's a couple of tests I want to do with that. So keep an eye specifically on a Twitch video that I'll hopefully be doing soon on that. And then I'll probably make a YouTube video on that. But that was quite an interesting section, and I want to dig more into the rolling cache with Flight Sim 2024. Anyway, there's a mention about DLSS4. Question asked, will it be incoming for the sim? And yep, they gave a short answer to that. Yeah, it's planned for Sim Update 2. Seems a lot of things are planned for Sim Update 2. We'll have to see how that goes. You know, if they fill their plate too much, a lot of these things may get pushed back. But it did say they're planning on bringing DLSS4 into Flight Sim 2024 too. There was also a slight mention about the 1 hour 53 minutes in about the live players range. So when you're flying in the air here, you can see I've got it on live multiplayer. I don't see anybody around Rio de Janeiro. Probably nobody's flying here at the moment. Maybe. They'll talk about the range. You know, you can only see people pretty much immediately ahead or behind you. And they said, yep, they're going to increase that range. They didn't give too much detail on this, but they said they're going to try and get this, increase that range basically of seeing other people in the air with Sim Update 1. So that will hopefully be imminent. And one other thing I want to mention here, they showed off the new famous flyer, the Cessna 185F, the Skywagon. Tell you what, on this one I'm gonna roll some B footage. So there you go, my friends, those are just some of the highlights from the Feb developer stream, which was streamed yesterday at the time of recording this video. I'll link the Twitch stream down below. When the YouTube one drops, it might have dropped already, I need to look. I'll link that in the description instead. It's quite a fascinating watch. It was quite tense for a lot of it. Seemed to be some arguments kicking off here or there, or it seemed that way in some ways. Yeah, I mean, you gotta understand that they're working hard at it. Now, there's no two ways about it. The sim shouldn't have been released in the state it was released in. And I think even they admit that. They were pushed to deadlines and they released it in an unfinished state. And now they're working hard to finish it. There was a lot of promise mentioned within that stream. We'll just have to see if it comes to fruition in Flight Sim 2024 itself. If they get the marketplace right, that will be a huge game changer. I'm all for that. Concentrate mainly on that. Few more bug fixes. There's been a few bug fixes with Sim Update 1 beta. I'll link my relevant videos about Sim Update 1 down below in the description. Get everything else right there and it's a great start. At least we're getting towards somewhat a functional flight sim, and then concentrate on the other issues for Sim Update 2, which hopefully won't be too far behind. Do let me know your own thoughts on this, people. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I'll see you soon.